right, on today's episode, we're transitioning from all of our digital tools into the ready frame here on the job site. We have a few walls stood up and it is moving along really smoothly, but it's not without learning a few lessons along the way. Today's episode sponsored by Builders FirstSource. Let's get going.
Altitude Adjustment, a Build Original series, is brought to you by Builders FirstSource, Delta Millworks, Huber Engineered Woods, Pella, and Sharkbite.
This is a highly complex plan, and with Builders FirstSource Ready Frame and digital tools, we were able to go vertical before we actually went vertical. Ready Frame allows us to go in and insert all of our MEPs, our plumbing, our electrical, our fire sprinklers, our HVAC, and identify conflicts before we find them on the job site. This helps solve hundreds of issues before they ever even happen. We anticipate this is going to help us save time and money by not having to do a bunch of rework and a bunch of changes on the job site. Builders FirstSource Ready Frame is pre-cut lumber material that we're using on the main floor system of Altitude Adjustment. I could not be more excited to utilize this and to integrate it into our process because I think this is going to speed up our process significantly. Working with the Builders FirstSource team, we were able to render the entire house ahead of time, create amazing photos and walkthroughs of the entire project so the homeowners can really see and feel what this house is going to look like before it ever gets built. That has actually helped us identify areas of the home that the homeowner thought were going to look or feel different. We're able to make those changes within the software and solve those problems before we ever get to the job site. This is a perfect example of the Build Show motto, know better, build better. By integrating these tools, we're going to create a much better process for us and our team and crank through this framing much quicker than we would otherwise. Go check out Builders FirstSource Ready Frame and all the digital tools available on bldr.com. So we've made it out here to the job site. The last episode, we were in the office and Justin, you and I were talking about the digital tools and what we used before we ever got to this point.
Yeah. So we're out here and we're going vertical, right? We're going to put everything to the test, which is exciting, always going vertical, especially for us home builders. But now we're going to apply the technology, right? The modeling, all the collision detection we did, and we're going to put that to practicum now. And we're actually out here framing today. So
yeah.
So we just want to kind of show that and kind of go, okay, we've been through the pain of all the pre-con, all the due diligence work we've done. And now we're gonna prove it out, right? So
yeah, so those are all the things that you guys saw in that last episode that we walked through, all the MEPs, getting that integrated into the model, learning just the structure of the house itself, trying to understand how it was designed and how we could better build it to make things go smoother in areas. We were able to solve a bunch of problems before we ever got to the point where we're framing. And then today we're here starting to put up ready frame walls and see this house start to progress.
So going vertical before we go vertical was the whole exercise we've done. And, you know, I will say that the power that we have in my BLDR, we stored all this in here. It's kind of your warehouse of information, right? So, and what I love about that is we can take our iPad out to the job site. I think you told me earlier, hey, I'm pulling it out, and as we're framing, I'm just verifying what we've done in the model. So, and I think that's very powerful for us home builders. Knowledge is power, and I think we're doing a really good job showing that with the tools.
Yeah, for sure. Those digital tools have really helped us get to this point. So huge thank you to you and your team, Justin.
Thank you.
And you guys, I'm going to introduce you to Terry, and we're going to walk through Ready Frame. That is his specialty. Justin is running the digital tool side, and Terry steps up on our Ready Frame side. So let's go over. I'm going to introduce you to Terry and walk through what we have going on here and how this house is coming together. Terry.
Steph, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. What an awesome job site you have here.
I know, it is so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're happy to be up here and now finally transitioning from all this time we've spent in the office building this digital model to actually seeing it come to fruition and lumber being cut and here on the job site.
Yeah, those digital tools have really helped us advance the framing process on the job site by catching these minor errors on the front end so that we get to the job site on the back end. We can move through these things a lot faster. But it's really good to see this finally come to fruition for you after all this time.
I know. And, you know, I kind of anticipated early on that we would probably run into a bit of struggles. Like, this is our first time using ReadyFrame. We've done a really small project before, but nothing to this scale.
Yeah.
This is also, I would venture to guess, one of the more complex homes that you guys have done out of ReadyFrame.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail here, Steph, and it's so important when we get to these custom jobs that that line of communication has to be, we have to be in sync with each other, right? So that what you know is going in that house is what we're designing to go into that house. Otherwise, we run into modifications that have to be made on a job site. We got a couple here, unfortunately, but it happens.
Yeah.
But with ReadyFrame, we're still able to do some modification and get things moving for you.
Yeah.
But we're still looking for time savings here.
Yep.
Time savings and waste and optimization of material. So
Yeah, that's a big deal. Let's walk over here and check out this wall.
okay.
We've seen a lot when we watched the Risinger build. We saw a ton of just great walls that got built real quick, stood up real fast, and things moved really speedy. On this job, we have a lot of rake walls. We have a lot of different heights of walls and different things. So it's been more complex, but I think that's one of the things that I loved so much was when we started this. This was our first wall we built this morning. And it was cool to be able to see all the detail that you guys put in for future beam pockets, for our ridge beams that we have. There's been a lot of thought that went into how it was designed, how it was cut, and how it was built. And I know you guys have put a lot of energy into perfecting that process.
Yes. As we continue to work our processes, the really cool thing about this wall is the complexity of it, right? You not only have a very large door in it, but then you also have a roof on it. So we actually had to cut these sill cripples at a rake angle.
Yep.
We're able to do that in our shop because we know exactly what all those angles are. So if you go up there and you put a square up beside each one, they're going to be spot on for you, which is really good.
Yeah.
And not only is the header marked, but marked as well. So you know when you have those pieces in there at the right angle and the proper stuff. So you can get this wall squared up.
Yeah, speaking of angles, we did some things on this house that we haven't done in the past, but Matt's done them many times, and a lot of builders we've seen have started to do this, which is cut all of our windowsills on a slope.
Yes. So it's a little bit hard to see. You got to get down here, Steph, and see this. But if you look down here on them, you can see we've cut a 5-degree angle onto this windowsill for you to give you that slope out in case there's ever any water intrusion at all. And I know that you talked about that in the basement video you did, right?
Yep.
And we actually had to go back and take care of a couple of them. But we did this in the shop, put it right into the design. And so when it comes out, we got everything right for you. It's just real important that the framers understand this as well. So when they come out here, they're not just grabbing pieces and putting them in, thinking maybe it's a sill cripple, that this piece is actually cut for a purpose. It's cut at that angle. So it's real important.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we started this morning. And I think that was a huge help for you guys to walk through with the framing crew and say, when you start laying these walls out, all of the printed lumber goes up. And this really kind of solves a lot of problems by just laying it out in the correct order. So I know we have one over here that you've started to lay out.
Yes.
And this is a perfect example. All the print is up.
That's correct.
So we can see exactly where everything goes. We do have a few walls here that we just started rocking and rolling, and some of them are up and some of them are down.
Yes.
But this is a perfect example of when you cut that bundle open and lay it out, if you're laying this lumber out correctly, it makes this all really easy to understand.
Yes, that's exactly right. So as you're laying this out, Steph, if you come back here and look, you put the material so that it's facing up like this. All the markings here are nice and clear. And now this has the different marking here of 116.5. 116.5 here. It's telling you that it's a king stud. You're just matching pieces up together. And this is our bottom plate for the exterior wall. 240.
Yep.
This is the king stud for 240. So we know we have all the right parts and pieces. So now the framer, it's faster for them because they just start putting pieces together.
Yeah.
And once they understand that and start moving from wall to wall to wall, that's where you as a builder, you gain that efficiency in time and in energy that's going into this project, and it's much greener because your lumber's already been optimized.
Yeah, that was one of the things I learned this morning as we were starting to lay it out, is the bottom plates actually have the heights printed on them as well, which is a huge deal when you have walls that are raked walls, when you have walls that have varying heights, or even in this case where we have 2 jack studs and a king stud. These are different heights.
Yes.
And it's really easy to just grab one and start nailing things together. But this, we don't have to cut anything. This is gonna tell us this stud is 116.5. We grab the one that matches it, that's printed 116.5,
Right.
and just put them together. And so when we have those big rake walls where we end up with 12 different studs, 12 different heights, it's already been cut. That's all, like the beauty of it is as long as we're paying attention to the numbers that are there, we've cut down on the amount of time we're spending here and the labor significantly.
Exactly. The optimization that you've been able to do. I think we had to cut every stud that's in this house because of all your different wall heights that go throughout this house.
We did. That's abnormal. I think normally when you guys are doing a ready frame package, it's pretty common for you to send out like a pallet just of standard height studs.
Yeah.
But in this house, not one stud in the entire house is a standard height.
Yeah.
So we had to cut every single stud.
We almost had to hand pick every piece of lumber that went in here. So you're going to have a little bit of crowning in your studs maybe, but for the most part, these are going to be pretty much all hand selected. Where when you build a traditional house and you get a unit of 104 and 5/8 studs that are all pre-cut, you're going through there and you're crowning, you're looking, you're culling through a lot of material. That's typically how it's done on the job site.
Yep.
And it's okay, but in this particular case, because of the customization that you have going on in this house, we have all these studs that have gone through our machine. So when we do that, in order to market, we need material that doesn't have warps, it's not twisted. We got to have that material. Now, we're still able to optimize. If we had some warps or twisted like that, we would still use that and kind of for blocking.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is something that we learned today over here on this job. Now, when we originally started working through this, as you can imagine with a home of this complexity, we went through a window order like 12 revisions. And on this case, we had a couple windows that ended up changing. So we have this opening right here, which we had to alter slightly. This one was a little bigger than what we had. The beauty of this with one of our others that's a different size is it actually shrunk slightly. So we can still use all the parts and pieces that we got and just bring it in a little bit. And even in this case, the only thing that we're having to come through and replace is the sill and the header. This has a structural gable truss on the end of it, so we don't even have a header beam here. This one was really simple, but I think that was a good learning lesson for me, was to just double check. You know, we do see a lot of revisions on plans, windows, all the rest of it. And that was something that was a good reminder for me in the future on the next one, just to make sure that I have the correct window order that we're using in there. But I think that's one of the great things about how you guys are constantly building and developing the digital tools and the Ready Frame, is you're always getting feedback and you're changing the way you do things. And, you know, I think we're used to seeing companies that have like a process or a way that they've done stuff for a long time and they just are very stuck in it. Builders FirstSource is very, very open and wants to include and collaborate with the builders that are using the tools,
That's right.
the Ready Frame. And that makes me, as a builder, feel a whole lot better about continuing to innovate and try new things with a company like Builders FirstSource.
Yes, you know, the technology that is out there and available, you have to make this so that it's more marketable to a larger grouping, right? So a builder like yourself that uses construction science in order to put these houses together, how can we help you utilize that technology? Because you can't necessarily go out and buy a truss facility. You can't go out and buy a ready frame facility. It's just cost prohibitive at some point, right? So if we make those tools available to you and help you understand them so that you're asking the right questions, that's the key, right? It's just like you explained here on this window. It's in the details, right? So if you know what questions to ask and how you want it designed, that's the final approach in order to making this thing run as efficiently as it can.
The other thing that I really just want to touch on is the way you guys have packaged things. So this job site does not have a lot of room.
Not a lot of.
We don't have room to stage almost anything here. And that was one of the things that I loved about the Ready Frame team here in West Jordan. They went through and very meticulously and thoughtfully packaged this.
Yes.
So wall by wall, bundle by bundle, and we can check one out over here. But they even went into as much detail to think about what wall is Joe, the framer, gonna grab first.
Yes.
So the team has actually stacked them in the order that they would start and use them.
Yes.
And that made things a whole lot easier because then we're not digging through a bunch of big stacks to find, wherever we wanna start.
Yes.
And we've talked about the Ready Frame and we've seen it a lot, but it's just another testament to how they're bundling these things. I had the opportunity to watch them cut this whole house in the facility, which was really, really cool for me. But everything is together. So these walls that are bundled together, like if this were a door opening, we have all of our components, in the middle. And then you're packaging things like a sandwich and keeping them nice and tight together. And I imagine this is just from learning and experience of how you guys have done these in the past. You're finding just the best ways to package them and send them out.
So by labeling these walls the way they are that we have and getting them to the job site, even Israel, who came out here and is helping us today with the design, he was out here when the delivery was made to make sure that the larger bundles were put in order as well. All of that comes down to what we call smart bundling.
Yep.
It's putting it together to make it user-friendly for the framer, because it doesn't do us any good to go through all of these steps and forget about the framer.
Absolutely. And that's just one of the things that we're juggling as we're here on the job sites, making sure we have what we need, where we need it, trying to organize and get things into the right place. And this is a perfect example of...
Oh, look, they're moving a bundle right now.
Yep, this is
Got the crane up and running.
This is a perfect example of what we're talking about is we don't have place to store anything.
Yes.
And so this is what the crew is doing is we're literally craning these packages into place and getting them where we need them, when we need them, also making room for other people to be able to come through the job. Whereas with a traditional framing method, we'd just be talking about having piles of lumber,
Yes.
kind of everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Exactly. And that's another a detail that should happen when you get a unique job site like this, to understand the topography of what's going on out here. Because you have a little bit of front yard where the driveway is going to go, but guess what happens? You fill it up with material. Now I lose my workspace, all right?
Yeah.
So you really have to methodically think about those things all the way through the whole process of framing. And that's why it's so important to sit down with yourself, your framer, get the people involved who are going to be on the job site so that we're getting all those factors.
Yeah. The other things that we did here that I'll just touch on that we integrated with our Ready Frame is we pre-cut all of our floor joists. So that was a really great thing, especially on a house like this. I think we have 50 different lengths of floor joists on this house.
Yes.
We pre-cut all of our beams.
Yes.
So we have all of our beams that have been not only cut, but printed on. So we know exactly which beam goes where.
Yes.
And then we've also kind of worked together with the team from the truss plant. And that is kind of our next big stage that's going to happen over here after we get these walls up, is delivering all those roof trusses.
Exactly.
And a lot of this is pretty complicated roof.
It really is. And when you work with that component manufacturer that does off-site component construction for you, those elements, those details are so important to make sure that everything is right. whether we're doing ready frame or we're building panels for you, we're pre-cutting your EWP, your I-joist that you used on this one, building open web floor trusses or even your roof trusses, you have to pay attention to the detail, right?
Yeah.
And even though that plan is there, you have all the measures, you still have to check things. It's all part of the process.
Yeah, I think for me, overall takeaways, obviously we only have about 6 walls up right now. But for me, a few huge things that I think have made a difference from time standpoint
Yes.
and from just a thinking about the homeowner in the future living in this home standpoint are, you know, utilizing those digital tools and being able to find complications or issues that we maybe wouldn't have ran into until we got here on the job site.
Yeah.
Being able to identify some big steel beams in the basement and drop them instead of having to go around them. Things like that have made a huge difference and really sped up this process.
Yeah.
I also think that having the ready frame on this job has proven to be pretty quick. I mean, we can see what's up so far. The crew has only been working out here for a couple hours this morning.
Yes.
They've even taken some time to go do a few other things like move our pallets, and we're efficient. We've got walls up. Some of these walls are sheeted. Like, things are moving, and having you and your team here to just be able to bounce ideas off each other, ways we can improve from our side, ways we could do things differently from the ready frame side.
Yeah.
But the thing that just makes me so excited about this is to be able to tell people and show people that you can use ready frame on a very complex custom home.
That's right.
Save time, save money, and really save waste. Like, save waste is one of the biggest things. The amount of dumpsters that we're going to take away of scrap lumber is going to be minimal compared to what it would be normally.
Yeah, exactly. So all those conversations that you had with Justin through all of those digital tools, right? To see it come full circle, it's got to be very rewarding.
Yeah.
One of the next walls that we're going to put up here is going to be another rake wall. So that's going to be really nice. That'll be part of the video that you're going to film later.
Yeah, there's just so many unique, different shaped walls, different stepped walls.
Yeah.
I mean, we've even got one behind us here that has a window that's sticking up higher than the rest of the roof in the entire wall. It's complicated, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done with ready frame. And I think this has been really fun to show it off and show people what can be done. So thank you so much for helping us out with this one.
You bet, Steph. It's been a pleasure, and it's always great to see you and always great to work with you. The whole build team, they do a fantastic job.
They sure do.
All right.
And you guys stay tuned because we're going to do another episode on the framing over here on the house, because this is way bigger than one episode can hold. We're going to have roof trusses that we're wanting to talk about. We're going to have a bunch of steel that we're going to want to talk about our floor structure. Like, there's just too much to fit into one single episode. So we're going to squeeze one more out of this and try and go through some of these framing details of things that maybe you wouldn't have thought about ahead of time. But if you guys aren't interested in ready frame, go to mybldr.com. Check out all the things they have to offer, from digital tools all the way down to ready frame. This house is going to be a true testament to the fact that Builders FirstSource can build a ready frame house, even in something as complex and custom as this. So huge thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to come back, more episodes to come. You know, you can follow me on social media at Stephanie Builds It, and we'll see you next time on The Build Show.